Whoa, whoa, whoa! Welcome to our show. This is the second series on these fly boxes in audio. So essentially, if you do not know, my name is William Davis. I am the owner of A.P.C. Photography, Broadcasting. Annually, I do about 40 shows where I'm either a technical director, production manager, or something along the lines of where there's between 50 to 1,500 people attending, where we would need something like a fly pack or a full system put together that would have sound, video, light, the whole works. What I'm looking at right now is what I envision building one of these, where we would have every tool we would need. What I'm looking at right now. This is what this whole series is about, building fly packs. I'm available for consulting on these too. It's so you can have the whole package in one container that you can roll out onto an event center and get to work handling events up to like 300 people at a time. So welcome to the live stream, and we're just going to kind of go over all of this stuff, and maybe we'll get answers for you. All right. First and foremost, let's talk about the screens. We're going to need them, and I love this dual screen setup that Blackmagic Design has. You can choose between 4K and HD screens. It's really up to you. These have HDMI, SDI inputs, make it really easy for you. They're color corrected. They make it really easy for you to get your answer of what you're seeing visually when you're using your switcher without having to have an external monitor added to the system. Now, this particular setup on this rack will actually have a total of 3 monitors. I'll have 2 of these smaller ones like this. You can either do 4K or you can do 1080p. And then it will also have a larger one. So these are 8 inches. It will have a 16-inch one too, and that's going to be our main visual point. It can be used for the laptop, it can be used for the preview, it can be for the multi-screen, and these can be used for that too. So let's take a look at what this next one looks like. And that's going to be this monitor. This one's a 16-inch monitor or 15.6-inch monitor. The nice thing about this particular monitor, it has SDI inputs, it has HDMI inputs, has USB-C on it. It's very easy to work with. It's an easy setup, easy way to go. I'm going to make this a little more transparent so you can see the monitor easier. And it's a much greater appreciated piece to have in a whole rack system. A lot of times when you come on set and you have a rack system, they'll have like 22-inch monitors, 27-inch monitors that are folded up, sometimes even larger, and you have to pull a lid up. But being able to just walk in, have a tall rack that's roughly about 4.5 feet tall, 5 feet tall, that you can just basically get in front of and get to work. You can sit in front of the table, or you can just literally just sit there in your chair and just get right to work. It is super nice to be able to do that. We do a little bit different with our team, so anyone who's doing the super job, which is where you're sitting right here in front of the rack and doing everything, you're not doing everything. You're just doing the switching and hitting the recording. We have some laptops we attach to this rack system that allows you to do everything else, but it's really nice to be where your cam director can see everything really easy and get right to work. Another piece to this puzzle is, how do we switch everything? This is where it gets kind of unique. They're these constellation pieces, and you can get them in HD and you can get them in 4K. The system we generally going to start off with is an HD system. If you look at the top one, it has 10 inputs. It also has 6 outputs. It has a preview screen on it, and it's going to be a small size that can fit in the rack really easy. The next one down has 20 inputs, 12 outputs, and they're all SDI. You can have them either in 4K or 1080p, depending which one you choose with. And then the one below that is 40 and 36 out, or 40 and 24 out. So you got 40 in and 24 out. If you notice, there's screens on here that show the audio level. It shows a whole bunch of other buttons, so you can kind of do everything by touching what is on the display. Touch the buttons, you get your preview going, and then you switch. You can do your cutting and everything from right there, or you can do it on the computer, or you can use the switchboard. This Flypack allows you to do kind of everything. Now, when I talk about the inputs and outputs, the Constellation makes it really easy to choose what you're doing. So let me show you from the back side of this. Each one of these units, move my head over here so it's a little bit easier for everybody to see. Each one of these units has audio in, which is professional, which is going to be a 1/4 inch. So you'll take a XLR and then you'll get one of those 1/4 inch plugs and you'll plug in there your left and right. It also has, let's see if I can get this to zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna zoom that in just a little bit, just so you can see that a little bit better. This one's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inputs, and you're going to have 6 outputs, plus a multi that goes out to your monitor so you can actually see what is going on, which is important. It's extremely important to be able to look at a multi-view. But with these 6 outputs, you have a couple of extra cool features you can do, or with the 12, you have more features, and I'll show you that with the next accessory. But you're able to get more monitors out, you can do more upstage work, everything else off of this professional tool. There's also some talkback pieces, there's a reference piece, there's controls, which will be running everything through our network hub on our Brain, which we'll go over the Brain here in a little while. But that's going to be one of the advantages of this particular unit, is you're going to have a lot of inputs and a lot of outputs. And if you've ever been to a location where essentially they may have a projector, they may have a television, they may have a confidence monitor, a bunch of other features, being able to have 6 independent outputs that can be any input you want to output you want, that's huge. And then also adjusting frame rate based on what's important. So I've been in locations where we had to do interlace, we've had to do it at specific frame rates, and having that capability does make a huge, and I do mean huge, difference in how your production show goes. With this, they also has like a networking option to it too, which is going to have that network connector. Overall, it's probably one of, if not the best setups for getting everything you want done the way you want it done easily. And I couldn't ask for a better tool for just setting up switching. Next on our list is going to be these converters. They're probably the biggest piece to this pie, and a lot of people don't generally buy them because they don't know what they do. This is a 3x3. What that means is I can take 3 inputs and 3 outputs out the same unit. Plus I can also have a loop out and have that visual available to me. Let me explain what that actually does for you. Imagine you need to have a couple upstage monitors, a projector, an LED screen, and then you need to bring 3 cameras back to you. Well, the projectors are putting the same image, so you can put an SDI out there and then have a splitter. You take this box, put it up on stage, have this one of these sitting at your unit, have 3 inputs from your outputs on the Constellation, and those outputs will go up to the stage. So you got a confidence monitor, an LED wall, and then you got the 2 projectors. And the LED wall is going to have whatever it's going to have on it. The 2 projectors are going to have their things in the confidence monitor. So you send that signal to the stage with 1 Ethernet cable on this box. Now, let's say we have a crowd cam, we have a podium cam, and then we have a PTZ that's just going to be kind of going whatever it's going to be doing up there, that can kind of live and do whatever it wants to do. You can bring that SDI signal back to your Constellation on that same Ethernet cable using this unit, which is phenomenal. So you've got that feature right there and you're just ready to go. Now you also have your loop outs. So in the off chance we wanted to check what each camera is doing, but see the focus on a bigger screen, so like was it small HD or say an Atomos Ninja or something like that, we could actually check the camera's focus and everything, see how they look with those loop outs. And sometimes it's nice to have our team up there and our technician being able to have some small monitors to see what's going on, which is really, really cool. So this allows us to run all of that video cabling through one Ethernet cable through that system there, which is the P2110 setup. This might not be super exciting for some people, but it is like extremely exciting for someone like me who has to figure out solutions for getting video information wherever I need it to be, whenever I need it to be on stage. So this covers everything. And in the Flypack, being able to have easy solutions for getting video up to the stage, getting video out to multiple monitors is key and essential. Another piece of that too is if we have someone from their team who wants to keep track of what's on the screen, say for example they're at an auctioneer table and they're writing down the amounts that they're doing, and they have a monitor there, and we have the center one is going to show all the amounts on the LED wall, while the other one is going to have your projectors with like the image or everything. They can keep track of what they're doing and tally it right. And it's really nice to have the loop outs to be able to give people the information they need. It's kind of cool. It gives me a lot of options. Now, next on my list with this is going to be, what if we have regular TVs versus HDI? The regular TVs are like HDMI. I mean, everyone's got it for years. These converters are going to be in alignment with all of these 3G systems. So I'm going to have a converter for each one of the outputs and inputs for that system. And the reason why I'm going to have that is so that if I put an SDI in or an SDI or HDMI in, it works. Now there's a version of this that's a bidirectional, so you can do HDMI and go to X direction. But I really want to be able to get signal out to everybody. And these micro converters, which there's multiple versions of them, allow me to do it. And I like to match them up with the number of options we have available. And it also works at giving me an SDI in and a loop out, and actually 2 signals out. So when you're working a 3x3, when you're working a constellation, having a bunch of these will make a big difference. They're also easy to replace and they're easy to power. So the USB-C, so you can use a hub with the USB-C power with it and have everything in like one little spot, and it'll handle all the power for it, like a triple output. They're very nice to work with. They're also 12G, so you can be 4K on there. This is another great piece with this. So universally, we use the 4K or the 12Gs, and then we kind of go back and forth with that. But it's a nice way to go. And this helps make that Flypack very, very versatile. The next part we do is recording. Here's where things get really, really different. We have a lot of options for recording here. We can go with the smaller unit, which is an HD unit, which is the top unit up there. It will record in a .264 or .265. It will do a ProRes. It gives you a lot of options to work with. It's easy to record with, SD cards to record with, or you can do USB-C to an external SSD drive. Next unit down from there, same thing. This one gives you headphone output, so it's easier to monitor everything with your earphones. Both have the ability to play back and go back and forth. Dual SD card slots, which is really, really nice. You want to use V90 cards for this, by the way. They work faster. I also use an external SSD to record onto it, and that's truly one of the exceptional things on it. And you can get this is both an HD Pro version, where the HD Pro has a pass-through of 4K, and then you have a 4K version, which gives you the 4K, and it's just massively powerful. And as we go down the line, we start getting into our HD 4Ks and our larger units. These are the more professional units where you're going to be able to take an external SSD, so like a 2.5 inch SATA drive and put it in there. Now, 2 years ago, this is a really, really good option. Since AI has become very, very well memory heavy, getting those SSDs at a decent price has gotten to be expensive. Luckily, I picked up like 5 of the 2 terabytes early. Those same 2 terabytes right now, I bought those like 150 bucks a piece. They're now $600. Same model, same everything. So it's a great memory solution. 2 terabytes at a time, 4 terabytes, 1 terabyte, half a terabyte. And the reason why I got those was the Atomos Ninjas, but this is a really great solution. You put the card in, they basically can be put into a shuttle afterwards and people get right to work and get the editing of the show when it's done. This all goes into the rack and makes life easy. Now, for those who are in situations who will be streaming, adding this to your rack will also make it, or your Flypack will also make life easier. There's a couple of choices here. So you can do an encoder for HD or an encoder for 4K. Life is just beautiful. You can get this done real quick. Now, there's also a decoder. And I'll get to this one. If we're doing an in-house system and we want to do something in another room that's on the same network, we can use a decoder and send the signal from the main room to another room in a facility without having to go to the internet and not have to worry about if we're having issues. Or we can send a decoder to a main hub, which this does happen sometimes, and that decoder can be sitting in, say, central hub of a gym, and we can still have our Flypack out in the main room, and as long as they've got the same network system and we've got through the passwords, we can if there's password protection, we can send that signal to theirs and it can go throughout the whole building. There will be a slight millisecond delay, but that's not a huge deal. But this is the way that you can send your stream. What's really important about this is if you're doing professional work for like ESPN or any major company out there that's doing broadcasting, they want SRT, and they're going to want probably .265 encoding, so it's a smaller file, same resolution as a 10-bit. It can go onto like the big screens like we're doing out here where I'm at in the casino when it's being transmitted. An SRT has less likely chance of dropping the stream, which did recently happen to me working with another company, and they were using an RTMP, and RTMPs do have doesn't happen very often, but there's a chance it could drop, and it was like 4 hours into the stream, so that kind of sucked. We can also see the monitoring with these two, so you can see the health of the stream, how much data is being transmitted. There's a packet drops, it's all right there, and there's an app for that's built into it that just makes your life great. Now we start getting into the brain of things. A lot of times these Flypacks are big powerhouses, but we also need them to do a lot of different things. So might need them for replay. We might need them for other things. We might need them to do the live stream through vMix or through whatever software or hardware you're using, OBS, or in this case here, I'm using EVMux. And you need to be able to get that, that all running here. And this ThinkStations are great. Now, a lot of people have never heard of them because they are on the industrial side. They've heard of Macs, but they have not heard of these. You can get this with an 8 gig video card, up to 128 gigs of RAM. You can get like an 8 terabyte drive. You can get all the high-speed inputs, outputs. It's a full station, but it's small and it's designed to be mounted in racks, and they can take the traveling. And that's where I worry about when it comes to Macs, because if I'm traveling with a Mac, I wonder if it's going to break. And if a Mac breaks, it's just buy another. If this breaks, you just repair the pieces in it and you're ready to go. So it's pretty easy to fix. It's a beautiful machine, and it does all the heavy lifting for you. Now let's talk the audio component. A lot of racks do not have this. A Flypack does not have this. I keep calling it a rack because I call mine a rack. But most fly packs don't have their own audio. I really, really like the Behringer Wing because it is touchscreen, which works with a lot of people who are between the ages of 21 and 30. They're used to using touchscreens. It is a 48 input, I think it's like 32 output, optional depending on which Stagebox and stuff you put with it. You can take the thumb drive and record the audio from the session there, or you can take 2 SD cards, I'll show you in the back for that. And you have a whole way of arraying your inputs and outputs. So from this one unit, we can make sure that the stream audio is great, we can make sure the audio's in the room's great. We can get recordings to back up everything that we're doing for the streams, so if we're doing post-production work, or if someone just requests that, and it's a nice little perk and a plus. It's phenomenal. Now, as for inputs and outputs, this is where this just dominates. If you look at the, oh, did I not put that up? I'm sorry, I didn't put the back of it up there. Hold on just a second here. I'll add that in a second. It has like 32 inputs and outputs, easy to set up the array. Next on my list is going to be microphones. Why do we want this all in the Flypack? It's nice to be able to roll out everything in one location, deploy a couple laptops on your table, and control everything. So you got an audio person running everything from a laptop, you've got your visuals person running everything from a laptop, so like all the visuals going in, and then you've also got your cam director who's running everything from either a switcher or a laptop or a preview, and everything runs super smooth, especially with the ability to use like touchscreen laptops, or if we want to add in a switcher, they can just touch the buttons and just be ready to go. This makes life super easy, and having everything in one unit makes life great. Having a nice SLX D units will allow you to work in Seattle, Tacoma, San Francisco, LA. If you're doing a 2-mic system, you're ready to go and you don't have to worry about it. Or if you are setting this up as a dual box system, which is going to be the next video I do, you could have like 8 of these at the front and 4 of these back here with you. And then if you've got someone who's roaming around in the back who's a voice of God, you don't have to worry about the distance for those mics way down there to work with these mics here. And it's a lot of big pluses with having this system in this fly pack. Speaking of fly packs, here is your crate. This is what you're going to have everything in your rack. This fly pack here literally has 20 of those 1U units in it, and this is where everything's going to be racked up with it. Everything's going to go in this one box. So this one piece rolls out with the 17-inch monitor, the dual 8-inch monitors, the switcher, the sound system, the microphones, the recorder units, everything's right here. And it's all in one place. Makes it really, really easy to work with. Now, you're probably wondering, all that space up front, it's open, is it going to be a hot mess in the back? Well, no. How about all the power and plugs? This is going to look kind of messed up. That's not going to be a problem either. Let me show you what I'm talking about. First and foremost, we're going to have a couple of these plug units. I usually run 2 of these. The reason why I run 2 of these is because everything's got all these different plugs, and being able to have one setup for the video side and one setup for the audio side is great. Plus, you're going to have 6 plugs sitting outside of your unit to work with, and I'm going to have extra plugs inside. Probably won't have that many extras because by the time we get done putting all the video, all the adapters, all the other stuff, we're going to have about 20 things plugged in. It's really incredible how many things are actually plugged in, how many units are going to be part of this system, which is phenomenal. And then we're going to talk about I/O. If we're going to have that in there and we want to make it look clean, how we're going to make that look clean? We are going to, no, sorry, wrong part of the presentation, so I'm going back to this part. How do we keep all of this stuff cool? We're going to have a couple fans in here. We're going to have an intake fan and an exhaust fan. I have this same system with my audio pack, and this is where I've got a mixer, wireless microphones or RF. What else do I have in that thing? a drawer for everything. It's a 4U, or it's 8U. It's an 8U, and it has everything in it, and the power supply, all the rest of that. Having the fan keeps everything right around 75, 80 degrees, and it never overheats. And having an intake and an exhaust fan allows you to take in fresh cold air and then push out all the hot air. So you're going to put your intake fan at the bottom of the unit from the back side, and you want to put your exhaust fan at the top of the unit on the back side. And then you want to put your plugs. So I always like to have audio plugs on the bottom and video plugs on the top, because audio is going to go out to the rest of the floor, and then the video stuff's going to be at the top, and then you're going to have extra racks in there. They're going to have I/O interface, which is where we're going to go to next. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit here. Then we're going to have I/O interface stuff here. This is where it gets interesting. These holes right here, each one of those can have specialized little plug adapters put in there. And those plug adapters can be SDI, HDMI, XLR, all the different connector pieces, Ethernet. So it's clean and it looks beautiful in the back. And then if we don't need any more spaces, we can actually get some of these that are just a blank, and then it just looks nice and clean. And when we've got it enclosed like that with a fan on the top and the bottom, you're not going to overheat. And if we need to add two intakes and 2 exhaust fans, that's just fine, because if you have that like that, the whole unit's going to run cool the whole time, and you can set even warners for temperatures. And this also helps when you're outside, and that's part of the reason why you need those fans. So sometimes you'll be out in the sun, you'll be out in the heat, and you're going to need those fans. Let me go back to that real quick, because that's a really important message I want to get out to everybody. When you build a Flypack, okay, one of the most important things with a Flypack is your fan cooling systems. If your devices overheat, if your constellation overheats, if your recorder overheats, if your live stream deck overheats, if your hybrid deck overheats, if your stream deck overheats, you're toast. So depending on where it's going to be at and how it's going to be there, you might want to have 1 or 2 or 4 fans. If I'm doing a lot of stuff in like Georgia or other places, yeah, I'm going to want to have like 4 or 5 fans in that system, because it's going to be hot. If I'm in Texas, it's going to be hot. Seattle's not so bad. Everything's right around 70 to 80 degrees, but I'd still want to have at least 2 fans, an intake and an exhaust. And this just protects all the components that are going to be in there. And that's going to be it. That's the whole presentation on making your fly deck. Now let me see if I can find that one piece I wanted to show you. Please forgive me. I had a piece I wanted you all to see, and it didn't get on there. Let me go back to my slideshow. I love this system because it's really easy to add stuff to it. We're gonna add in. Yeah, I knew I forgot something. Good. All right. Now, we were talking about the audio section. I apologize. I want to get to this real quick because I messed up in this presentation. I forgot to put this in there. On the back of the Behringer, this is what sets this unit completely apart. I have 4 headphone outputs, so client will have headphones specific to what they're supposed to be listening to. So if you got someone who's worried about what's going on in the presentation, others who are worried about the sound coming through the video, others who just want to listen to what is going on in general, what's going on in the stream, they'll get all of that by choice. Your I/O is really, really nice, so we can run just about everything through this unit. We have 24 inputs directly on the unit. We have 8 outputs directly off this unit. We have the option of putting a Stagebox off, actually 2 Stageboxes off. There's 3 different Stagebox types, but 2 A.S.E. Stageboxes off this, which is really cool, so we can run a Stagebox down to the main unit, and we can also run, say, another Stagebox to an ESL unit or whatever else we're working with that's there. It also has 2 SD card readers. Depending on how we set up this unit, we'll set it up for easy access to the SD cards with an opening door to get to the units where someone put their hand in and grab the SD card and put it back in. What's important about the SD cards is you can record each channel individually, or what they call stems, and that allows us to do a lot of post work depending on who or what teams we're working with and their needs for that. This unit is just massively powerful, and we can run, to give you an idea, we can run a full band off this. We would usually take 7 and 8, put those directly into, or actually 1 and 2 would go into our live stream, 7 and 8 would go out to the front speakers, and then that still leaves us 4 more sets to put the speakers, put anything else out, and it's really a beautiful setup. I couldn't be happier with what this setup will do inside of a Flypack. Having a Flypack with everything built into it is very unusual to see. They're generally an audio system and generally a video system set up differently from each other. This Flypack system also is designed to be one unit, and we can run everything off of it, or we can expand it and add in extra monitors and everything else. We can add in a switcher, we can add in all the rest, and really expand this unit. So depending on what the needs are for the client, or what their budget is, or how we would do things, it's all one unit. For those who are new to the Flypack game, or those who are clients who want to know how this is going to work for you, we generally would charge you a flat fee for the Flypack, and those are all the components you're going to need. If you've worked with like Encore or any of the other services like that, they tend to do bits and pieces, and they're not always the pieces you may need for the system. The Flypack is designed to be scalable to just about everything you're going to do, and all in one box, so that we can bring it in, roll it beside us. We can pull laptops out, we can throw monitors up on the 6-foot tables, we can do all of that. We can bring out switcher boards, or we can run a very lean team for, say, a smaller setup where we're just going to have a couple of speakers, maybe going to a live stream, and then we have like 3 cameras. Or if we're going to go to something really, really advanced, we go to the other part. But the Flypack itself will always be like the heart of this system, and it will always come out at what it is to rent one. But it's really a good way to go. It guarantees consistency, it gives you more options on reliability, and you're gonna have everything you need in one setup, which is very unusual in the world of AV, because most of the times it is, hopefully we can put everything together and make it work. There's multiple ways we can do this, but it is one of the cool things. Why do we use a more advanced switch system? It really kind of helps to have options. These constellation systems allow us to interface with just about every place you go. So if you were to go to, we're in Seattle, so the Seattle Convention Center, let's just say we wanted to connect in with them and use their monitors, their visuals. Having the SDI out and being able to match the frame rate and if they need interlace or not is going to make a huge, huge difference working in these facilities. Or let's just say we're over at, oh man, I've been to so many of these locations. Why am I drawing a blank? The Hyatt, the W, the Convention Center in Bellevue, Linwood Convention Center, any of these spots, Edmonds Waterfront. All of these venues have different setups for what you need to be able to interact with, and having a Flypack like this allows you to interact with all of them because you've got SDI, HDMI, you can match frame rates, You can work with that. You can send a signal out to one monitor. You can send another signal out to a conference monitor. Being able to have all of these choices for yourself and what you're doing for your show will make a huge, huge difference in the end results you get. And I believe for you, it will be a very powerful tool down the road. Another question I've been getting lately on these fly packs, where is that? How do I get the video from the show? Having these recorder units allows us to do it. So for example, if you have the HD version, which is the top version here, you're just going to get an HD recording. It's going to be an SD card. Everybody's got an SD card. You can set it up to where they can just take it out home with them off of an SD card and they're ready to go. If you're someone who's got SSDs, or the little portable ones that look like, hold on, let me pull one out for you if I have one. That's a mouse. Okay, everybody's got these. Whoa, everybody's got these little things right here. This can be plugged in to the back of these units, and it allows you to record the video onto this unit right here with no problem. And they can just take it home or go to their office or give it to the creative team, and they get to go right to work. Now, why does the bottom two always look a little different? What is that about? And that's a question I get a lot too. As a technical director, I get asked that question, why would we need that goofy looking one at the bottom? I don't even know what drive that is. So this would be a portable hard drive. You've all seen these like this. What a lot of people don't see is I take the plastic off, and here's your SATA drive. These are generally what are inside of your computer, or used to be a lot in like desktops. This is what you're recording on. These can be pretty big size. So these are a Samsung Evo 870. These things are not cheap anymore. When I bought these were not bad. This is a 2 terabyte. When I bought this, it was about 150 bucks for this unit. Now these same ones are selling for $600 thanks to AI. So they're really nice to have. You can record, you can get ProRes, you can get RAW, you can get whatever you want and be ready for your post-production team to get right to work. Literally come in, put this in that drive area, pull it out, get one of these little plastic case things. These are like 20 bucks. They're inexpensive. Plug your SATA drive into there like such. Put your little plastic cover on. And you're done. Now they have, at the end of the day, got something to work with. I used to sell these for about $200, $220 for the whole unit, depending on what size the data is. Now I still do sell them, but they're $750 now for these whole units. At 2 terabyte, I think they're like $450 for the 1 terabyte, depending on the brand you're going with. You can still get some decent prices on the 2 terabytes in a couple hundred range for some really off brands, but if you're looking for like a Samsung Evo type, it's gotten ridiculously expensive. I don't know what to tell you. It's just what it is. But being able to record in a dual record system here and an SD card, and still being able to record internal, all the options are available here. We also use these for playbacks. We'll get into that another one down the road, but having these type of units allows us to do playback for live events, sporting events. And that's the thing. Having this unit allows you to go to a sporting event, allows you to cover a news event, a gala, a small event, a large event, have 10 PTZs set up, and you're just running out, you have somebody run the 10 PTZs. This heart allows you to do a lot of different things at once, which is really, really cool. These converters, most systems forget these. As a technical director who's had to pull these out of the case multiple times, what I like to do is just have this built in with our system. Having the HDMI out and having all the rest in one unit is so much easier to work with than having to go grab them. I'd much rather have a tray of these sitting on a shelf and just ready to go. It's going to be an inside. When I build it where there's a tray and then there's a block off point and then all the cables go out. So we organize everything on the inside. The inside's a hot mess of cables, but you'll never see the cables. And this allows us to have a certain number of units and certain number of videos that are going to have SDI in and SDI out, HDMI out, and it's run off USB-C. These are great to have for downstage monitors, for projectors, and all the rest, so we have all the right cables to work with. They do work with the optical cables for the HDMI, which is great. So if you got this on your Stagebox down on stage, so there's a Stagebox we're going to go over that will have these with the 3x3s, you can get all of your outputs done the way you need to. Most of those are going to be in HD. We can still record everything in 4K, but we just send our signal down in HD. Really kind of a cool way of working this system. What else do we have on here that kind of sticks out to me from this presentation? The 3x3 units, what are these? Why are they important? And I don't understand them. Cabling is a nightmare for planners. I don't know how many times we've had where are you going to put the cables? How are you going to put the cables? Where are we going to hide the cables? All the cable issues. Being able to run just a few XLR cables around the room to cover everything, magical. Absolutely magical for them. Every planner will love seeing these, and the moment you pull these out and you show them the first time that you've ran your audio upstage, you have ran your visuals upstage, and you have two really small cables doing all that work. Not only will they refer people to you, they will make your life so easy. And if a client says, this doesn't make sense to spend this money on it, the planner will sell it for you. When I say they will sell it for you, you will never have to think about it. And as a planner, you won't have to keep making adjustments to the room or worry that we tape things down the right way. Literally, we can run a 1-inch piece of gaff tape and we're done. That's it, on the side of the room. So I can run everything down one side of the room, on the side that we don't have to worry about in the first place, and I can run like a 300-foot Ethernet cable, and you're happy with that. I don't have to run a whole bunch of weird cabling and figure out how we're going to do that. And I can also run to the camera area, this is the nightmare for planners. I have had more planners trying to figure out, we built out everything, so we got a stage for you, the cameras over here, we got this over here, we got a platform over here. Oh my God, I just realized we have a platform over there, but why do we have 6 cables going over there? Well, we kind of need SDIs in and SDI outs for these systems. When you can just run an Ethernet cable over there, or 2 Ethernet cables over there, or 1 into a hub, and the hub handles the connection between the two, because that's the cool part, because you can run them in the hubs, and one cable goes to a hub. The hub then splits out to where it needs to go. The advantage of P2110 IP systems is you really, really make it so much easier for the people you work with. You limit the number of cables to 1 or 2 in any one direction. They're very thin because they're Ethernet cables, so they're going to be super thin, like USB-C cable thin, but it will handle all the data for you, which is phenomenal. So that part is one of my favorite parts of working with this system. Now, what else are we talking about here? Constellation. Why would we want to use a Constellation over an ATEM? I'm willing to give up the ISO recording feature that you would have with ATEM minis to have the multiple outputs to match everyone's needs throughout the room, throughout the monitoring. It's so important. I am sitting right now at Toledo Resort and Casino, and I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a ton of monitors. Being able to have, here's the key part. Say we need one screen. Say we have 3 computer inputs, 3 different locations, some videos, some other stuff, and we need like 7 different monitors to go out. Having the ability to have 7 different monitors go out, still have a preview monitor for your client who can preview either the preview of the show or your multi-screen for the show. It changes everything. Having all of that changes everything for your client. Makes life so much easier and so much better for everyone down the road. The other part too, this has real audio inputs. Now, I do like the A10 minis, but the SDI version does not have line level inputs in like 1/4 inch or XLR. This unit does have the 1/4 inch, which is really, really nice. There are some regular XLR versions, but you're gonna have to go over to the A10 HD studios. And why did I not choose an HD studio? I still have to like build stuff around it. Having everything in one unit, I could literally run off this unit, switch videos and everything right off this, and not have to bring anything out of the box. I wouldn't have to load it. If I was stuck in a situation with this system where I had one choice, I had to be sitting in a corner, and this has happened before, and we've had to put this on a 4-foot table, and this was a nightmare, but it happens. I'm sitting in a corner, I've got 3 cameras, audio, like 5-speaker audio system, and because we got some speakers out in the hallway, and then we got speakers in here, and I need to route them and all that stuff there. I could run this from this one unit going right in front of me that's 4 foot tall and do the whole show myself. Because especially the like one dynamic camera and the rest is stationary, literally this one box could run the whole show. Now, the question comes, what do we do then? Do we just don't charge for labor? No, that's not the case. We do a maximum of 3 jobs of labor for one person. And how we charge for labor on this one is very unique. We charge the main job that they're doing. So in this case here, if they are running the Flypack by themselves, they are a technical director. And the reason why they are a technical director first is as a technical director, they have to be able to run that whole entire thing, troubleshoot it, make it work all by themselves. So we charge that at the full rate, and Seattle market is $850 to $1,200 for technical directors. Then we look at, are they a camera director? Well, if they're a camera director in the same situation, the average rate for a camera director in this area is $650 to $850 to be a camera director. So we take that rate, we divide it in half, and we add it to the rate that goes to the person who is running that position. Then, an audio A1. Now you're thinking, wow, this person's doing audio, he's doing video, doing all this. They are. So if they're also being an A1, the standard rate for Seattle is between $850 for A1 to almost as much as $1,050 depending on the job they're doing. We basically divide that in half and throw that together. Then we charge the rate for this, and then we also charge a flat setup and striking fee for setup and striking. Mainly, your Flypack has everything in it, so it's just a flat fee for setup and striking, but that has to do with speakers and everything else. The Flypack is set up. We do charge a 1-hour setup fee for the Flypack. It's just a flat fee. They're going to go through and diagnose everything, do a quick check on everything, and make sure everything works. That's just the way it goes, and it's just one unit. Nice thing about this Flypack too is it does have the PC that's in it already, so let's get back over to here with the PC. So this whole unit can do streaming with it too. Streaming, when we do this, at least when it comes to A.P.C photography and with a Flypack, we have 2 different forms of fees for it. If we're going to like a StreamYard or a EVMux or a YouTube direct from the computer, it's a flat $500 to turn on for a full day. We'll glance over, make sure it's running, or we have like a YouTube in our ear or something like that. If it's a solo, it's just a flat fee to turn it on. If you are doing an SRT, RTMP, you want a professional monitoring of the system, which I don't blame you. If you want a professional monitoring system, I think that's cool. Do it. I'm on your side. I'm on your side with it. If you want professional monitoring, I say pay for it. Now, with that comes a caveat. That is another person whose direct job is monitoring. What they're doing is they're actually watching the show as it is going through their own monitoring system on their own setup, their own screens. That particular one there, they will be focused completely on that. They'll be watching if it's buffering too much, if it's going to have a delay. All of that's going to be controlled right there, and they're actually really locked into the system. That's a single person rate. That's usually a flat fee of $1,000. And the reason why we do that is because they're going to be head to toe. They're responsible for testing the Ethernet, making sure everything's functioning, everything else. They are generally there for a 10-hour day, no matter what they do. They bring in their own laptop to check everything to make sure everything's functioning. There are 2 units for them, the units in the Flypack and a separate unit they can use if they need to run that in, and we can run an output to that system too, just in case it's a backup if we need to start that up. And that does happen, so we'll do like a safety, if they've got a dual RTMP where it has a safety input, we will run both of them at the same time, and that will make sure that the handshake works. What's next on this list here? That's just how I do the labor. Why did I bring this up? Because sometimes when you have a all-in-one solution, sometimes being able to do too much, people are not rewarded for that. We do reward our people for being able to do that, and it allows them to have the opportunity to just kick butt and do well and give you the best possible service. Wasn't that many people live on tonight, but then I don't blame you. It's 11:30 at night. Like, I always pop these live streams out like 11:30. It's because I'm working all the time, and this just happens to be the time that I get a chance to pop these out. Thank you for watching. For those who watched, those who will watch later, thank you for watching them. If you need anything down the road, our teams are here to help you. The reason why I'm doing these series is really to help clients and also people in the industry to learn what they're going to need to have the best setups. Now, I didn't say the perfect setup, the only setup you can do. These are some of the best setups that will functionally work everywhere all the time. Are there ways to go with different setups with lesser or not a Flypack like this? Absolutely. And we will also go over some of those. We will be doing an ATEM switcher that's going to be in a drawer that's going to be basically glued to the bottom of it, and it's going to have ins, outs. It's going to also have audio system that's going to be on the shelf too. The reason why we're doing these in cases is so that they can be transported from place to place and easy to use. We will also be doing audio units, we'll be doing video units, we'll be discussing all the different ones. We'll discuss how you can use an analog board to get sound for live streams or recording later. Let me preview that out for you real quick, because this is probably, if you are doing events, Encore is probably something you know very well. I have to say this, Encore has won the contracts everywhere, so I'm not mad at you, Encore. Congratulations, you have won all these contracts. Awesome. For those who are working with Encore, if you have a technical director who is working with you from the beginning to the end, life will be really easy, and they'll make sure you get all the right equipment so you don't get surprises on the day of or the week before with a rush to get equipment. That will be the better equipment. This does happen sometimes, so tell them what you want. Not every place understands what you're doing for what your needs are. It's not against them, it's just, they're not specialized technicians. They are kind of a jack of all trades, but not a master of any of those. And they're generally, it's hard for them. You get the master technicians, of any field. They tend to go independent. It's not a bad thing or a good thing, it's just it is. So let's get back to, I was talking about the analog boards. This has been one of the biggest ones we've ran into in a lot of events. So let me pull this up. Actually, Mackey's seems to be a lot of the times in Seattle. So let me pull up the Mackey's. And they're great boards. It's just a lot of times the board that they have there isn't the right board for what you're trying to do. A lot of the places tend to have, as you go. They tend to have this board right here. So let me see if I got some pictures of it. I'm gonna pull this up in a second. It's a cool board. I've used it many times. I think it's a pretty nice looking board. It's just knowing how to set them up, or there may not be enough outputs for what you're looking to do. Because I have a couple of these boards and they're really nice, but all right, that's let me pull that up for us real quick.
I don't know what's going to happen. Still love coaching, but I get it. These jobs all have an expiration date. There's a run that happens, and when the run ends, sometimes it's.
All right, so this is what a lot of times is ordered by Pinnacle, Encore, and the rest of them. It's a good board. If you're going to run a couple speakers, some wireless microphones, and maybe run a computer in it, really good board. Now, if you're planning to have some monitor speakers, some speakers outside, and then you still need to get something to the live stream and maybe an external recorder, this is not the right board for it, and that's where having a technical director coming in can help you with that. Because the reason why this board's not the right board for it, there's just not enough sends, basically. There's just not enough sends out that can be controlled volume-wise to get everything to work the way you want it to work. And that kind of sucks. I mean, you do get the control room for volume, but you really, on this one here, you don't get an auxiliary control. You just have an FX send. You have to actually go up a model to get more of what you're looking for. So you really only have these two up here at the same volume on the output. So you can run 4 speakers, but you gotta kind of jerry-rig the volume there. Technically, you could run a live stream here with the controlled volume, but it's not going to be the same like, oh, this is awesome, I'm controlling everything the way I need to go into a live stream. You're not going to be able to take the DJ out of it too. So say for instance you're running the DJ and the line 6s, and then the 910 are running through something else. You're not going to be able to control their volume going into the control room, which we're having a mixer like the one I had earlier, you can. And the price for a mixer like that really isn't that much more than this. So renting them for that day and having the right mixer, it helps for some of the things you want to do. And it does make a difference if you got a band coming in or something like that, you want to pipe them into the live stream. So, now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a ton of these that are Yamaha, Allen Heath, Mackie, and these are fabulous for certain types of work. But other types of work is not the best one for it. And it kind of just depends on what you're doing. The Flybox, the Flypack, with everything, you never have to worry about it because it has every possible input, every possible output for sound, and it will work with you the way you need it to. That being said, I thank y'all for coming in and watching. It's been like a really cool night with everybody. If I missed any comments, forgive me. I just didn't look at comments. I was just talking about this. We will be talking about the Flypack Stagebox setup, and that's going to be pretty cool. Either I'm going to do it tomorrow night or the night after that. Depends how much work I got going. We will be doing a environmental program tomorrow with sound and everything, so that's going to be really cool. We'll be doing that tomorrow, so I'll be busy with that, and so I might not have time to jump into it. Plus, you got work and emails and stuff like that. But I should have the other one out, and as usual, it's going to be a late night one. I appreciate everybody who's been watching. I know it's really late, so take care. It's been about an hour on here. Y'all have a great night. Peace from A.P.C Photography.